Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. We have quite a bit of news to cover in the crypto space once again, and we will also be taking a look at the price movement for both Bitcoin and was posted 2 days ago. We haven't seen any new update, and back then it was in the extreme fear territory, and this is sitting at 20. That price was just under $63,000. So by comparison, let's go ahead and look at what it's at now. We're sitting at $64,000. We did have two red days back on Tuesday, July 7th, as well as on the 8th. And then we had a nice green candle yesterday. Volume was actually less than the two previous days, but more or less trying to reclaim everything that we lost on Wednesday. And then here we are on the new day. We're pushing up. It is green, up over 1% on the day. And we actually have a high that was sitting at about $64,700. It's pulled back since then, just above $64,000. And then we have a low about $62,900. And with that being said, we're starting to see a pretty nice progressive climb up. You do want to keep an eye on that Fibonacci retracement level. I like to talk about this in my videos. It's at $63,200. We're sitting pretty comfortably now above the median line of the Bollinger Band. We're starting to see it move a little bit sideways. The Bollinger Band itself is wider with that position, though, than what we saw back on, say, June 22nd. But that was very short-lived. So once it started to look like it was consolidating, we actually saw it starting to diverge a bit. And we got a little bit of a nice rally going on here. That was, again, 6 days in a row. I mentioned this in a previous video. And Bitcoin itself looking quite good. So by comparison, when we look at what's going on with the Bitcoin Fear and Greed Index, I would estimate that this is sitting about the same range. I would expect it to be in the extreme fear territory. We're sitting at now just under $64,000. It's actually pulled down just a tiny bit, which is a little bit higher than what we were seeing here on July 8th. So this might be somewhere in the range of 18 to 24, I would say. And let's go ahead and continue moving on. Swift XRP speculation hits wall. Former Swift Chief Innovation Officer Tom Zajac has dismissed claims that Swift plans to support XRP. And this is a little bit frustrating to hear because for so long, people have been very bullish on the idea that XRP could get integrated in with Swift. So responding on Twitter, Zach said the rumored integration is, quote, not happening. And I do want to stress this. This is a former Swift Chief Innovation Officer. All right, but still, there's some weight there. The comments follow viral posts claiming Swift would support XRP instead of launching its own digital asset, a claim presented without evidence. And so from Ripple's ID, XRP does not need Swift. Swift needs XRP. A former Swift executive says XRP integration is not happening. The truth, it was never the goal. Swift is just a messaging system. It does not move money. It sends instructions while your funds crawl through a chain of correspondent banks, each taking a fee, each adding days of delay. The XRP ledger doesn't send a message about a payment. It is the payment, settled in 3 to 5 seconds. For a fraction of a cent, 24/7, 365. And it's already happening without Swift's blessing. You have JP Morgan, Ondo, MasterCard settled tokenized US Treasuries. Guess where? The XRP ledger. Clearstream holding 22 trillion, added XRP to its custody platform. SBI in Japan built regulated tokens and stablecoins directly on XRPL. Ripple Prime wired itself into DTCC's $114 trillion clearing system. None of it needed Swift. One was built to move messages between banks. The other was built to move value between anyone. XRP was never trying to join the old system. It was built to bury it. And so, yeah, you guys can check out Ripple's ID if you really like what they're posting there. And Ash Crypto, lawmakers could drop a new version of crypto market structure bill by next week. But there's still one major concern. Ethics agreement, which restricts government officials from profiting off crypto. If this issue is resolved, the Clarity Act could reach the Senate floor as soon as July 20th. I mean, what's the big deal, right? Pass it. Yes, let's have an ethics agreement. at it, also restrict them from doing stocks. That's my point of view on that. Now, also, newly appointed Coinbase Vice Chair Ryan Van Grack says the Clarity Act is on the 1 yard line, so really close, pointing to legislative and regulatory momentum set to turbocharge Coinbase and the industry. And there's a big alert. A whale just opened an $11.1 million XRP long with 20 times leverage. That is absolutely wild. And the whole banking world just standardized on ISO 20022. The old Swift MT format retired. Ripple saw it coming in 2020 when it became the first blockchain company in the ISO 20022 standards body. Everyone else is catching up to where XRP already lives. And it's official, Circle is now a federally chartered bank. The OCC has fully approved First National Digital Currency Bank, operating as Circle National Trust. This is bullish for Bitcoin and crypto since it gives institutions a federally regulated bridge to bring trillions of dollars onto the blockchain. And Circle stock is up 10% in pre-market trading. XRP is now just days away from a bullish breakout. This is according to Crypto Michael, and as you guys can clearly see, it looks very, very close. So, you know, if it doesn't end up passing above here, it could further extend itself out. But as it becomes more and more narrow, you're looking at it essentially towards the end of July, the beginning of August. It would have to make some kind of a decision. It's not a guarantee with this stuff. It's just, again, looking at the probability. So right now, it's looking pretty darn likely. We already had 1, 2, 3 tests on this upper line. So suggestively, if we were to try and retest it again, significant rally. And Trensic, they just put XRP at the center as the XRPL leads the next wave of real world assets adoption. And there's a crypto exchange called BTCC. If you guys have not heard of this crypto exchange, where have you been? It is already now 13 years old. And over here, you get access to over 300 crypto futures, up to 250 times leverage. No VPN or KYC required. There's bonuses, a 10% deposit bonus. That's when you deposit over $500 USDT. And there's bonuses that go all the way up to $10,055. So if you want to check this out, or if you're ready to get started, you can find my referral link down in the description below. And on to some other major news. We're going to talk about what's going on with Japan. So Japan used to resist crypto ETFs, stablecoins, and stay cautious. Now their top exchange CEO signals they're coming fast, with XRP or Ripple leading. Japan's financial minister announced today crypto ETFs to be approved in Japan. Yen collapsing, they're turning to XRP to save it. RCT ready to flood billions in liquidity from skeptics to full nation-state adoption overnight. And in 2019, SBI CEO Yoshitaka Kitao boldly envisioned XRP powering Japan's banks and joined Ripple's board. Today, that vision is materializing into Japan's financial system. And so Crypto Rover chiming in here, he believes that the Bank of Japan is playing with fire now. And the end result would be a crash even bigger than what we saw in 2008. Today, Japan's Minister of Finance calls to increase investment in domestic Japanese investments. She even hinted at selling foreign assets and converting them back to yen. Now, this strategy sounds smart on paper until you understand the consequences. Japan's foreign assets are worth over $1 trillion, with most of them sitting in bonds and global currencies. If BOJ sells those, the bond yields around the world will spike. At the same time, it'll strengthen the yen and force investors to sell their assets. This includes stocks, bonds, precious metals, crypto, and any other major asset. The result would be a crash across all assets, including the Japanese stock market. In August 2024, we witnessed a similar event when over $5 trillion vanished within a week. This time, the yen carries trade has become bigger, so the crash would be bigger than anything we have ever seen. And XRP shorts are getting wiped out. Almost $800,000 liquidated in the last 24 hours. 71% of all XRP liquidations are shorts. So see you later, bears. And now let's go ahead and take a quick look what's going on with the price movement of XRP. So it is at basically $1.10. We are sitting just under it right now. So you're going to see a little bit of a battle taking place there. We'll see how things actually play out for the rest of the day. But as it is, this is an absolutely massive wick on top. You guys can see we did hit $1.11 earlier. At one point at the high there, it was almost $1.12. It has since pulled back down and again sitting right on the cusp of $1.10. The low on the day was down here just under $1.09. So it's got some room to play with. The volume is already more than what we saw yesterday, likely to pass that again of what we're seeing like Bitcoin of Tuesday and Wednesday, and may even see it push for what we had comparable to Monday. So XRP itself looks like volume is starting to ramp up a tad bit here on the day. And let's just go ahead and zoom out. We're still above the median line of the Bollinger Band. We're above the VWAP. Both of those are good signs. And we actually see that the Bollinger Band here is pretty close to what we were seeing back on June 22nd. And we are sitting in the Fibonacci retracement zone below the median line. So we're technically closer to 86 cents than we are pushing up here to $1.40. Hopefully it's going to make the run up though. As it is right now, it looks like it has some optimism behind it. But I do also want to stress to you guys as we zoom out, it just has almost a year-long record of starting to make a rally up, then it crashes down, rally up, crashes down, and it's just over and over and over again. And we're seeing that drop, and then kind of like right here, starting to get a lot of those weak hands out. But the people that are remaining, how much more patience do they still have? How many new people are going to want to buy into this? How many previous people want to rebuy? We'll have to wait and see, and I'll keep you guys updated if there's anything major that happens here. And yeah, okay, that's it, guys. I appreciate you so much. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, my YouTube members. God bless, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.